My name is Denton Elkins.
Okay, and our first question for the interview is, do you believe in reincarnation?
That's always an interesting question. I don't really know. I can only tell you when I get there, but my theory on reincarnation would be that I've had the same dog 3 times. Dog's purpose and things like that. That I've had. I noticed that his soul has come back to me 3 times and 3 different dogs, and it's pretty cool, I guess, if I wanted to go into that. But as far as human reincarnation, I don't think I was anybody in the past or anything like that. I don't feel it, I don't have that deja vu of like, oh, I was in the Wild West somewhere. Nothing like
Right.
that.
Okay. Do you have your own theories about reincarnation, which you kind of answered?
A little bit. I mean, it's my religion would tell me no, but at the same time, I'm an economist too, so recycling things. I don't know, maybe recycling souls. I don't know. I'll tell you when I get there.
Right. So it was interesting that you said that you have your dog and 3 different dogs. How so?
Well, when I was in college, I had this dog, and his personality, his mannerisms, things like that were the same as my after 14 wonderful years with them. A year later, I got another dog and had 8 wonderful years with him. And the strangest thing was they acted the same way, barked at the same things, did all kinds of really cool stuff. And there was this one toy from my first dog that my second dog would not play with. I kept it just as a memory, but it was just like, no, that's no, I'm not playing with that. And then now he passed away with lymphoma for 8 years, and then I just got a new puppy, and she's starting to act very similar. And it just, I don't know if it's just that that's the way I've trained dogs. But there's something to it. I don't know. And if you've ever seen the movie or read the book, Dog's Purpose,
That's really
heartbreaking.
cool.
That's good. So yeah, it helps it out.
That's really cool. Is using only 10% of your brain a fact or a myth?
It's a myth. It's a myth because the brain is not just one big gray matter mass. It's an integral computer of many, many different parts that do very different things, and each part of the brain has its own job. Using 10% of the brain, if we used 100% of our brain, do we become X-Men? No, we can walk through a door using 100% of our brain.
Okay. So that leads to the next question. Are we actually using 100% of our brain?
It depends on what we do. If we're just resting and thinking, maybe we are using about 10% because we're not moving or anything like that. But using your motor skills, your occipital lobes, your frontal lobes, your cerebral cortex, your hypothalamus, your hippocampus, all those things do different parts and run different pieces of our machine.
Okay, so with all of that being said, if we used 100% of our brain all the time, would it be like a brain overload, or is that just
Well, think of your brain as a computer, okay? And if we have multiple tabs opened, think about you when you're stressed. All right, you have multiple tabs open on your computer, and it's draining your battery, and you're really tired if you've worked really hard, or if you've played a sport and you're using 100% of your brain a lot. When we rest, we only use 10% of our brain. 20% of our energy is used by the brain, and only about maybe a fifth, not a fifth, but about 5 pounds is our brain, something to that effect. So a very small amount of our mass uses a fifth of our energy.
Okay. What part of the brain deals with memory?
Well, there's a lot of parts. There's many parts. There's the frontal lobe that deals with our decision making and our choices. The parental lobe, our sensory information, how we process that. Temporal lobes deal with smell and sound. Occipital lobe is sight. Our hippocampus takes our short-term memory, the things that we learn, and then files them away into our long-term memory and be able to move that to it. And then our amygdala gives us the emotion behind memory. So when you remember something from past, you hear a certain song, you get a certain smell, it brings back that memory. So that's from our amygdala.
Cool. Okay. How can we get our working memory to work for us?
Well, this is known as neuroplasticity or brain plasticity, and using memory games like Sudoku or crossword puzzles or simple puzzles and games, things like that. There's a great website called Luminosity that advertises that. And our brain, in that sense, is kind of a muscle, okay? It's just like, again, when I talk about a computer, downloading new information, downloading a new app, and cleaning up some of the old apps and learning new ways of doing things. Everything that does is helps our brain become better. There's been a lot of research about Alzheimer's patients dealing with brain plasticity and trying to add to that and trying to build and work out your muscle, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so these questions now are kind of redundant.
Yes.
Have you ever had an experience of knowing someone that you felt like you've already known?
Well, I've had that. I guess we would call that deja vu, right, or something to that effect. I've had those sense like I've been here before. Usually it's my kitchen, but but in reality, you have that sense of I've seen this before, and I guess I have. And there's just some, how you can read a person from a distance, and it's that love at first sight kind of thing. I don't know if that exists. Maybe the second sight, maybe the third time. I don't know. Depends on how it is, but
Right.
We've seen it before.
Okay, and then for our last question, do you think religion has a large part on the belief of reincarnation?
Absolutely. All right. Religion is pretty much the basis of what we learn. Again, as a human, we try to explain the unexplainable. Okay. When the Earth was flat, Christopher Columbus and others and Magellan explained or looked at it, and other scientists said like we are, the Earth is round. Okay, so that was an unexplainable thing. We thought that we'd fall off the side of the planet and things like that. Copernicus feeling that we were heliocentric. The religion, Catholic Church went crazy about that because the Earth is supposed to be the center of the universe, and when we learned the unexplainable at that time was that, but through science and observation, we learned differently. The afterlife, not many people come back and tell us.
Right.
So that's still an unexplainable, and that's what religion does for us, is try to help us explain the unexplainable.
Right. Okay, thank you.